Hello and welcome to lesson two of the parenting module on the needs languages. I'm really glad you're here today and let's get started. This is the individual needs and they're the languages, but they're individual needs language. So the needs languages parenting booklet, page 5, we start to talk about where the needs language came from. They came from Jung and Hippocrates, where these are the forefathers of many of our personality models. However, I felt there was something missing from the current personality models. And what was missing was the communication part. By using some of the same research that other personality models used, and by adding the communication component, we came up with the needs languages. So we also brought in a lot of nonviolent communication into this model as well. So I believe we bring our personality and the way our personality communicates to the space we're in. This is demonstrated in the words we speak or by the words we speak and by our body language. A while back, I spoke with a parent who knew what her child's personality communication was by the time he was a year old. Many times, a parent can tell at a young age what their child is communicating in their personality. However, many times we don't fully know how to connect or communicate because we haven't learned those skills yet. Many of us were not taught these skills when we were growing up. Many of us were silenced because our parents didn't know how to listen to themselves. So, how could they listen to us? Let's look at a few sayings that explain speaking who we are. We speak what we think and what we believe about ourselves and others. We speak what is in our subconscious mind, and many times we don't even realize what we are saying. So, something from an unknown source. If you want to know someone's mind, listen to their words. If you want to know their heart, watch their actions. J.K. Rowling said this. It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. From Stephen R. Covey. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. Jesus said, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. There he was referring to when people had bad intentions. Solomon talked in Proverbs how our spoken words either give us life or death. Solomon also said that as a person thinks in their heart, so they are. Children are great imitators. So give them something great to imitate. That was from someone unknown. Kids don't remember what you try to teach them. They remember what you are. Jim Henson. Every day, in 100 small ways, our children ask, do you hear me? Do you see me? Do I matter? Their behavior often reflects our response. This one is one of my favorites. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits. They become your character. Watch your character. It becomes your destiny. That is from the Tao. If you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. Can't quite pronounce this person's name, so I'm just going to spell it out for you. Roald. Last name is Dahl. This next one. Children are not things to be molded, but are people to be unfolded. Jess Lair. I think Jess Lair is saying when you unfold, you discover what is truly inside. I've come to believe that each of us has a personal calling that's as unique as a fingerprint. And that's the best way to succeed is to discover what you love and then find a way to offer it to others in the form of service, working hard and also allowing the energy of the universe to lead you. Oprah Winfrey. We speak what we think. We speak who we are. There are many books out there that talk about that. Talk about this. That is why I brought in different sayings from different places, from different people, from different walks of life, from different places, different centuries. And it doesn't matter whether you like that person or don't like that person, they're all saying the same thing. Even though there are basic patterns that show our design, the fingerprint is still uniquely ours. I have used my personal experience, my educational background in conflict resolution and psychology, and research. I've done a lot of research to develop the needs languages. So let's get started. There are 4 needs. We each speak 2 out of the 4. For this lesson, we are only covering the individual needs. So I wanted to share with you the 4 needs, and we each speak 2 out of the 4 needs. For this lesson, we're only covering the individual needs. So here are the 4 needs, and they're not in any order. We have right. We usually use R for right, C is for control, I is for important, and V is for value. And again, there's no particular order. It doesn't mean anything other than the definitions I'm going to give you. And I wanted to make that really, really super clear. So, and remember, these are individual needs. And when they're influenced by another need, things can change just a little. So our right needs are about belief. They're about being one thing or the other, good versus bad, right versus wrong. They are your thinkers. When they decide something, they stick to it. They're more likely to stick to it. And when they've made up their mind and they can have a hard time changing it. They tend to be a little more rigid and they can easily manifest something once they believe it. They're more likely going to have an easier time manifesting something once they believe it. They need time to process something different or new than how they've seen it before. And you're typically going to know where you stand with this person. Now, C control needs are, and again, this is about processing, and you're going to hear the way they communicate. This is how you're going to know. They're going to be about their environment. They like to know the steps in a process. They're when you don't give them all the steps, they're gonna feel a little more out of control. Um, they're like really gonna like to control the way they're seen. Sometimes they're gonna struggle with fear or worry. Um, and the way that they do it is a little bit different than the others. They're often more observant to what's going on around them. They tend to be a little more cautious when making decisions, and they present themselves more in a controlled manner. Many times they are systematic and like making or having lists, and they're usually a little more patient. So, I or important. These individual needs are usually more goal driven. They're looking for a prize. They're more motivated and passionate. They're going to lean towards priorities. They seem to be a little more impulsive, focused, and driven. They are more likely to need a goal that is attainable, that interests them, or they're going to give up. Many times they can remember names easily. They can be so focused that they tend to be unaware of what's around them. And they're not usually the most patient unless it's important to them. And they tend to be the center of attention and will do things consciously or subconsciously to be the center of attention everywhere they go. For example, they may whistle sing, speak loudly, etc., you might notice this person because the music will stop and they'll say something right when it stops. And then you'll notice. And you may even think they're doing it on purpose. You don't have an important needs. And they tend to be very expressive in their emotions. I mean, this is again what the tendency can be. There can be some crossover because I'm going to go back to R for a second. R can be a chameleon. A lot of times R is because they're a thinker, they are they tend to be the most creative out of the four, and they can be that more of the chameleon. They're the ones that will be the chameleon out of all four of these. So I'm going to go to V, value. Now, value does not mean that they are the most valuable of all the people here. That is not what I'm saying. We want to make that really, really, really clear. Value, I want you to think of when you go to a store and you're pricing something. You're seeing, is it value? Do I want to pay that cost? Because of value, they tend to be more your empathy, your feelers. They feel before they think, and they're about cost versus benefit in every decision they make. They can struggle with being incisive. They really need to see a cost or a benefit to make a decision. And they're similar to right in needing more time to make a decision unless you show them a cost or benefit. And this can be a real challenge for people around them because they don't always tell you what they're feeling or thinking. And they can struggle with having more of a pep in their step because they're a little more, um, just kind of and they tend to be a little more sensitive, and they can be quieter and feel deeply about things. And it may take them longer to process emotions or even explain what emotions they're feeling. And they usually are more at a steady pace or even a slower pace in a lot of ways. Just this particular one, again, when you add another one to it, it can change some things. So again, these are the basic descriptions of how each of these individual needs of the needs languages process information. So you kind of get the idea of how processing works. It can explain how to communicate and where behaviors come from. As parents, it can it can give us a guide to our kids to form healthy identity of self, which can help our kids have successful outcomes like community, which as parents, we all hope that for our kids. I mean, I'm hoping that you would hope that for your kids. I don't know anybody who says, I want my kids to have a horrible, rotten life. I think most people want their kids to have a successful, wonderful, healthy life with a healthy community. And this is a tool in your toolbox to help you with that. So this week, I want you to go home, or you're already home. You're probably watching this at home. Sometimes I forget this is virtual. Read the introduction to the needs languages chapter. And this is this week. And here's one more quote from an unknown. Listen and silent are spelled with the same letters. Think about that. The great thing is we can learn to listen to ourselves and our kids. As we learn to listen, we can give each other the freedom we desire to be ourselves and the skills so we can speak our needs and create healthy communities. I am so excited for next week. We are going to get into the needs combinations that make up the needs languages. Until next time, be well, be safe, and be happy. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.